excited that we have an incredible panel with us today from China. China is one of the hottest markets in blockchain. So much stuff is happening over there, and we're very, very honored to have a few luminaries who know all that's happening over there share with us the insights, the tips on how to build a Chinese community, what you need to know, and the latest that is happening out there. So with that, today we have 4 distinguished guests. I will let them each introduce themselves. They represent various parts of the Chinese ecosystem, from node operators to chains and to chains that work with government entities and businesses. So without much further ado, super excited to welcome everyone. So I'm going to go around, and if you can, just in a few short sentences, kind of introduce yourself and the project that you're with. Why don't we start with Daniel?
Okay, thank you, Adeyln. Hi, I'm glad to be here today. I'm Daniel, a co-founder of Novos. Novos is a layered blockchain network, and we have a 2-layer. The base layer is a permissionless proof of work blockchain. We call it a common knowledge base. With a focus on providing the security and the decentralization, well, developer can construct a layer 2 solution focused on speedy and the transaction with extremely low fees. Our layer 2 solutions are circled root in our base layer, and they also has a interoperability with the base layer, and we have launched our mainnet in last November. Thank you, Adeyln.
Yeah, well, Nervos, we know, is a wonderful blockchain project. I mean, you have some of the earliest blockchain developers and academics in China that are building on it. So I know that there's a lot of excitement in China and the world around that as well. Next, Harriet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harriet, and I'm working on IRISNet, which is an interchain service hub for next-generation distributed applications. IRISNet supports the interoperability among public chains, but also not only limited to public chains, but also consortium chains and the legacy system. It also provides modules such like Oracle through Chainlink, HTLC, CoinSwap, etc. to support DeFi applications. It is really my great pleasure today to join this panel discussion.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. And Harriet, again, also congratulations on your recent appointment in the Cosmos ecosystem board.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are one of the core developers of Tendermint and really moving that network forward. So next, Hao from SNZ Pool.
Yeah. Hi guys, it's Hao from SMGs Pool. It's a great pleasure to be here, and thanks Adeyln and Chainlink for having us today. SMGs Pool, actually, we are a professional POS provider and platforms that dedicated to providing POS staking pool services. We support to minimize, the complexity of working as a POS validator, and to maximize the stability and the security of running a POS validator with our standard pools and services. So we aim to make the POS validator as easy as possible. So since 2018, we've been running over 20 major POS projects. And it's our great pleasure to be one of the first Chainlink node operators as well, and to contribute to the Chainlink network. And apart from staking nodes, actually, SNZ, we have more business as well. And as SNZ, we are Chainlink's ecosystem strategic partners here in China, and we'll be working with the whole team of Chainlink on all aspects in the Asian markets. And we supported on the Chinese community building here in China from the day one with the team Adeyln and Philippe. So it's our great pleasure to be here again. Thanks.
Yeah, and thank you guys. You have been absolutely incredible. We're honored to have you as one of our very first node operators building up the ecosystem. I mean, now we have so many hundreds, but you were one of the very first to put your faith in the Chainlink network and help secure a lot of value. And last but not least, Mr. He from BSN.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Yifan He, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Ready Tech. And Ready Tech is one of the founding members of BSN. And BSN is a big environment network we want to build, and BSN trying to integrate all the blockchain technologies. We already integrated Novos and IRISNet, okay, and we are integrating with the Chainlink right now. So that's we want to build a big environment that help all the developers can do, if they want to do any blockchain technology project, they can do that cheaply, and they can basically reach very cheap interoperability with many other blockchain projects. So that's the goal of BSN.
Wow. Well, I actually want to start with one question then for you, Mr. He, and actually everybody will go around. I want this to be interactive, so feel free to jump in when you feel it's your question, and round into order is not always that fun. So let's make it a little more exciting for people. But one thing people in the West don't quite understand about China is government relations. Government is at the core of everything in China, and I was wondering if Mr. He, if you can start us off because of all the relations you guys have, of helping people understand about why is government relations so important in everything that the blockchain industry does, and why don't we start there?
Okay, so the question is why the government is important in the blockchain industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Chinese government is important in everything in China. So it's not only the blockchain industry. But I mean, the major reason is, I think, firstly, the central government right now treats blockchain technology as a national technology strategy. So that's really boosts the blockchain technology, in China, and the marketing. Basically, the biggest marketing force is the government right now. So because there's so many state-owned entity in China, and basically, all the infrastructures, everything is managed and built by SOEs. That's why they are very important if we want to build, really boost the blockchain technology in China. You need to build a lot of things like the infrastructure, like all the applications, everything. So the first, all the infrastructure in China should be built by the SOEs. So that's why we always need working with the SOEs and the government. And second one, I think the first layer of blockchain application should be government related. Okay, so that's why also on the application layer, we also need all the blockchain companies in China, outside China. If they focus on the application, they should also working with government, closely to understand their requirements, understand their needs, and you can build the technology around that. I think that's the first layer of blockchain application in China, the government-related applications.
Great. Daniel, any thoughts from you?
Okay. I think that the government will want to use the blockchain as a new infrastructure for the economy. That's for sure. And the government already invested a lot of the resource and the money into this area. Taking this as the Yifan said, this is a national level strategy, and the government has been adoption for blockchain with private sector and like banks, telecoms, and internet companies for a while. I think it's happened many years ago, and we can see the government is started to explore the user case of the blockchain about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Blockchain is widely used in supply chain, trading, financial. Most of the applications are built on the permission and the consulting blockchain at the moment. But I think the government want to push the technology, not they push the technology first. but not for the business world. It's because the government usually doing things by step and cautious. I see the future, the government want to try to forward looking at the application of the public blockchain. But it still needs time. It will start from the technology integrations. First, for example, applying demonstrate cryptographic algorithm on the blockchain, and I can give you another example, like a DCEP. We all know the DCEP adoption some blockchain technology as the core part of the whole system, but it's also as a centralized solution, and is not using the everything. It is not building everything on the blockchain, but the kernel part is still using a blockchain technology. But if we can, but it can be circulated on blockchain. So we can see in the future, the government has kept the more and more impact will bring more and more opportunity and more values to the blockchain industry, and also to impact the international.
I think you touched on a couple of very interesting points. So for the listeners who aren't familiar, DCEP is the digital currency initiative by the Chinese government. And I believe actually, Daniel, your team wrote a really good in-depth article helping people understand what is DCEP. I think it was posted on Medium earlier this year. So if people are interested, you should read it. But it was a very good primer, because everyone thinks DCEP equals blockchain. But as you said, it's not fully the permissionless blockchain. They're using part of the blockchain technology in its kernel, but it's not the full permissionless standard that we think of. So there's a very interesting point there. You also mentioned about permissionless, public, private, and consortium chains. I know, Harriet, you're very familiar with these different types. I don't know if you can kind of help people understand why there's so much emphasis on those types of chains, and maybe help people unpack that a little bit.
Yes. So I think like the adoption of consortium blockchains by enterprise, many reasons because of the regulation compliance requirements, and besides of that, is also due to like the heavy duty like the data processing, and also like the security and the performance requirements. So that's, and actually like as Daniel shared earlier, in China. The China government actually gave a lot of support for the blockchain adoption, and especially on the consortium blockchain space. So actually, like I think like all the early on, like Yifan and Daniel already shared, like Chinese government really plays a very important role in blockchain adoption in China. And it really helps the adoption, and especially through like providing like fundings, and also most importantly, even like I think even more importantly, like the business scenarios and also the platforms for the blockchain has a space to get explored and get used.
And so to that extent then, how does this government influence the roadmap of how you think about building your various projects? And this can be for anybody.
Yeah, maybe I can like share some of the progress and also the experience we have like along like how this policy and all like the government support has been really helping on the roadmap part. I would say like it really helped to, as I mentioned earlier, like help to accelerate the roadmap development of blockchain. So actually from day one, like for when we established the team, we are working both on the interoperability fundamental technology, as well as practicing it in solving the real business problems, trying to verify the technology. For example, like we worked with Nanjing on prototyping the integration of consulting blockchains, and also worked with Foshan on healthcare data exchange with the privacy protection. And so this year, we got even more business opportunities, and due to the government's advocacy of blockchain technology.
Wow.
Yeah. And I want to share one story, actually.
Yeah.
We recently got involved to work with the healthcare IT service provider in Wuhan to use blockchain technology to build the COVID-19 type of pandemic warning system. So if like without government's emergency funds in fighting with the virus, and also like its requirements on data sharing with privacy protection. So we want to be able to have this type of opportunity to work on this type of engagement. So it really helped to accelerate the adoption of blockchain.
Yeah, and I think people might not even realize, but when you said Nanjing, that's the city of Nanjing. And Foshan is a really huge enterprise. I think people sometimes in the US don't quite understand, or the West, but these are huge names that you're putting out. So that's very, very incredible. I think I would love to kind of, as you guys think, actually, anybody else on that question?
I can share
Yes.
kind of experience from our side. Actually, as what I said, that SMG actually, apart from the staking nodes, actually we do have other business as well, and we do have our technical team to build all the applications on the blockchain platform. But coming back to a couple of years ago, like in 2016 and 17, actually we did a lot of projects or applications on the blockchain. That time it was basing on the Ethereum. And actually, we are one of the founding members of the EEA Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Now we built a lot of demo, basing on Ethereum that time, and we went to introduce this kind of new technology solution projects to governments and enterprise companies. At that time, most of the people, firstly, they didn't know about that. They couldn't understand that, and few of them could understand that, which was good. But they didn't dare to use blockchain that time because as Harry said, the government is playing a very important role here in China. Everywhere they are rule and regulation makers. And that time, because of the token speculation, this kind of negative things, image. So people didn't dare to use blockchain technology at that time, especially for the government and companies like state-owned companies, right? And now I think since October last year, everything is changed. It's changed. I think one of the roles that the government plays here, which is we can see that they are the door opener between blockchain technology and the government companies, between them. So it's a door opener. The door is open now, and people are lining up, to talk with us about how to apply the blockchain technology. So I think both in permission public chain and permission blockchain, there is one common thing which is sort of still missing, is the user case, the real user case, right? And now in permission blockchain, with all the government, the state-owned companies and enterprise, big corporates, the door is open to blockchain. So we start to get more and more real user case. We start to get more and more opportunity to apply the blockchain with, with the resources, with the user case opened, by the government, the state-owned companies, big corporates, which is, a big, support and promotion coming from the government. Mm-hmm. And since then, actually, from our side, we started to switch kind of, resource and attention to this market as well.
Yeah. And what happened in October?
Oh, well, yeah. To share the information, because it was, I was in San Francisco at that time. Actually, in October, our presidency actually they announced that blockchain is one of the key technologies for the future development of the country.
Yeah.
So which is huge, promotion for the whole country, especially, for the government and state-owned companies and all the big corporates,
Yeah.
It's like, a green light, for people to embrace the blockchain technology.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like I heard that it was very funny that all of a sudden, even community, like everybody from the town governor to the state commissioner, everybody started even reaching out to you guys and to ask, what is blockchain? How do I get involved? It's like they all started watching videos on Blockchain 101 because once President Xi had said, this is green light, everyone was like, I need a review. I need to learn.
Exactly.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, one of the most common questions I actually get asked by other projects in the ecosystem is, how do you build a strong Chinese community? All these Western projects, are really excited about kind of figuring out how to kind of be part of this, in Asia and what's going on there. I will open up to the floor here. Like, what should Western projects know if they're trying to enter Asia? Maybe Daniel?
Okay. I think for Western projects looking for building the community in China, I think the most important thing is localization. How to optimize your localization strategy in China community. China is really big. We have a lot of the cities has more than 10 million of people. So you can't just influence those huge amount of people very efficiently. So you need to keep repeating and keep doing a lot of work to let people know your project. And for local community, and you can find some QLs and some evangelists to help you to promote your project. I think that's important. Which means you need to find some right people to help you and make some friends and to help you to doing the promotion. And also is another good strategy is find the local partners that already have the big community and also have a good reputation to help you to bootstrap your community. I think that's very important. And I am a community person actually. Before I joined the blockchain industry, I doing for more than 10 years of the IT. Technical communities, and we has a cooperation more and more companies and more and more developers going together and doing a lot of meetup, doing a lot of AMA and some attending a lot of the events. I think this is very, very good, very important to just getting to people and face-to-face communications. I think Chainlink has really good strategy in China community. I know everybody in China, in the team member of the Chainlink in China, and they are doing really well at the offline event, and they are doing a lot of promotion, writing a lot, generate a lot of good content, and they just show up everywhere to and make everyone to be the friend of the Chainlink in China. So I think Chainlink is a good demonstration for this kind of for the most of Western projects, and they want to launch the community in China.
Oh, well, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, it's not easy to build out a Chinese community, and you say, finding the right person to lead the team is very, very important. Mr. He, you guys are great at partners and projects and stuff. I mean, what advice do you have?
Oh, okay. First of all, any foreign blockchain project to enter China, I think there's three major aspects. they need to understand. The first one, they need to definitely comply with Chinese regulations. Okay, that's always the number one. Okay, if for example, if a public chain come in China, build different teams in different regions and promote their cryptocurrency, that could be considered criminal. Okay.
I see. So no token talk, no anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can talk, but you cannot locally more to sell the tokens. Then that's, recently there's some team got arrested. So that's something, that's the first thing always keep in mind, number one. And the second one is you really need to, because if you are a project, that means you are doing something, right? That's something needed to fit in the Chinese market's requirement and needs, which means you can serve a legitimate purpose. So if you cannot find that, if you come in, there will be lack of partnership and because the people doesn't know what to do with it. Okay. And the third one, if everything's comply with the regulation and you have a very good business model and you need local partners, like Daniel just said, you really need some partners, local partners. Otherwise, I don't think you can do anything. Okay, you probably don't even know how to talk to people. So that's really you need local partners and through those local partners you need to build a relationship with government. Just like we discussed earlier, everything needs to be in relationship with government in order to be something big in China. So that's actually. Also, I think when this video is out, it's September 17th or something. I forgot, but I can make announcements here because BSN is working with Huobi, trying to bring in the public chain ecosystem inside China. So we have some plan. We already announced in the end of October. Okay, so Huobi is talking with all the big public chains right now, but when I also make this as an example. So when those public chains get in China, they need to do a lot of technical modifications on their chain. So they need to get rid of the token, and they need to build that into a permission chain. So that project we call that BSN Open Permission Chain project. So, but with the help of the BSN and the Huobi, those public chains can begin to build their ecosystem in China legally, and they can build their relationship with governments, because we can bring them into a lot of government projects. So that's actually why I said the three aspects. First, they need to get rid of tokens. That fits the first one. The second one, they need to serve a purpose because they are permission chain and they can build an ecosystem. Help developers how to really build Dapps on this kind of semi-public chain environment. And the third one, they have partners. They have BSN as partner. They have Huobi as partners. So that's the thing. Whoever wants to enter China, they need to consider and to plan.
Yeah, it's very good. I very like the logical thinking. 1, 2, 3. Check. If you don't make those check marks, you won't succeed. Harriet or Zhou?
Yeah, I think like Ms. He already shared very good insights on how to work in China, and also Daniel shared like many good way like how to build the community. I just want to emphasize, like as both of them mentioned, the importance is really like build the local partner, and the key is on root in China. So please just not like just fly in with the people on marketing, but really come to set up the China local office and to work closely with the China developer communities and ecosystem communities. And also like with all the root in China, like office members, they have the deep understanding of the value, the true value, the tech value of your project. And then they can help to not only to further develop the chain system, but also they can best help the users and the developers in China community to adopt the project.
No, but how does someone go find a partner then? Like everyone says, go find a partner, but who do they find, or how do they go about doing that?
Okay, just come to us.
Come to Nervos. Okay.
And I would say like come to China actually just to start to build your office, start to have your like tech leaders and like to really spend time to really have your feet on the China ground. And then working with all the good projects, like for example, Novos, IRISNet, and Chainlink, and also BSN, and then you will figure out the way like how the system works.
Yeah, that's right.
Simple, I think, for other projects, they just do one thing: follow what China did in China.
No.
Yes, that's right.
No. But it's not easy, right? It's like, I think it's, you guys mentioned a great point about localization, finding the local leaders. And it's actually true. I've seen a lot of founders from many projects, actually just not Western people, like not Chinese, didn't speak any English, and they now live permanently in China and they're learning Chinese. Some of them now have a Chinese girlfriend, but they're really localizing in all ways to really understand and meet the locals. And then I do know that there is Wanxiang, the conference that is coming up. Usually it is the biggest conference, one of the biggest conferences to go to in China. But I think now with COVID, it's a little bit difficult. But if you are a Western company and really want to get there and can get yourself to China in October, I think that's one of the best places to go network, right? Yeah. I guess what, from you guys, what would you want, I guess one question is, what would you want the Western world to know about your projects or about China blockchain? Or
Sorry,
oh, go ahead, Harriet.
the question. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I was saying, if you have a chance to tell the Western world something, maybe it's like this is a misunderstanding or misconception or something that you think people might not recognize, or what do you want to tell the world?
I see. I think that China has a really big potential in the crypto space. Not only is the crypto market, but yes, we have the biggest crypto investors, but we not only have the biggest crypto investors, we also have a lot of research and developers, and we also have a lot of potential developer and research, which has which in the IT industry, but they are willing to jump into the crypto space, if those developers from the internet company to start to jump into the crypto space, we will see the iteration of the product innovation, and it will become really fast. We have seen this happen in DeFi area and blockchain game area. Those two kind of area has a really growing really fast in China. Mm-hmm. And we also there still have a lot of the potential, huge potential in some other part of the China crypto market, and so it's really worth to invest more and more in China market and China community, I think.
So how?
Yeah. Well, I can share a couple of insights from my side about the Chinese market or the China with the blockchain. Actually, I think Chinese market is one of the most important markets, for both permission blockchain and public chain to be there. And there are kind of few features. Firstly, I think the market size. Well, all the technology will go to the market, right? At the end of the day. Otherwise, it's useless, right? So when, for instance, with blockchain technology, when we talk about, going to market. And where is the market? Chinese market is the biggest single market in the world. The single market means, where the people speak the same language, share the same culture, with the same regulation, with the same currency, right? It means that you build up one version of product and you fit for 1.4 billion people with one cost, and which is not the case in other places. So it works for all, the industry with the internet, and it works for all the other traditional industry as well. I used to work in the automotive industry. It works. I think it will be work for the blockchain industry as well, because as what I shared, both public chain and permission chain, we all need real user case, and the user case is linked to the market. So this is the first one, the big single market with 1.4 people living here. And secondly, I think, as Daniel said, when we now it seems like the infrastructure of blockchain industry is sort of ready, for kind of application to come out. And when we come to talk about application, and then there are a lot of a huge amount of developers in China who have a lot of experience on building up application, thanks to the internet industry and all other similar industries, right? And at a relatively low cost. So this is one of the successful elements for some international companies to be successful here in China, because the market size, because the huge amount of high competence and low cost developers, right? And thirdly, I think we talked about a lot of about the community, and I think community it means people behind people. It means culture, language, habits, diversity, and we all know that in East and West there is a big difference, right? The world is quite diverse. And I think, here in China, it could be, for Western projects, it could be the windows for them to get to know about the Asia market, because we do have a lot of similarities in culture, in value, in habits. So when you are ready to be here in Chinese market, and you get the ticket to the Asian market as well. Mm-hmm. And other feature about the Chinese market, as Mr. He said, token is still in a gray area here nowadays. But with time, I think a lot of things will be changed in the future, right? So that's it. So I think Chinese market is a market for any project you should not miss out. It's my point of view. So welcome to China.
Great. Harriet or Mr. He? If not, I guess we have time for one more final question. It's rapid. I just want to ask you, where do you think we will be 1 year from now? Where do you think the China market will be in 1 year? Just in 1 or 2 sentences max to end us up. Who wants to start?
I would say it's internet of blockchains, and it's not just one big public chain or one big consortium chain, and it's really a very diverse setting, and will be able to adjust the requirements from the enterprise, from the consumers in all aspects through the different technology. So internet of blockchains, that is 1 year from now.
Right.
Yeah. First, I think actually answer the last question is right now China is really blockchain friendly. Even it doesn't really do any cryptocurrency, but for this technology, China is very friendly. Such as the DSN is a Chinese project, and we can open to working with public chains, to integrating them. I think that's a big step. So I think 1 year from now, there will be a lot of government build the blockchain infrastructure. That's one thing, because I know almost more than 10 provincial government is building such infrastructure right now, and I think the company who can do a blockchain application should be at least 3 times than today. Okay, so 1 year. So because we are working with a lot of traditional technology companies and training them to become blockchain enabled. So that's really fast. So I think 1 year from now on, there's a lot of blockchain applications and a lot of blockchain user cases and applications we can see, and everybody think that become normal. Okay.
Great. Go ahead, Daniel. What's your prediction?
Okay. I really agree with Mr. Yifan says. The whole ecosystem, the whole community, and the blockchain adoptions going to at least double, and maybe 3 times bigger than for 1 year. I'm totally agree, because the everything is keeps really growing really fast. I can see the whole industry is really activity, and the whole community is growing bigger and bigger from day by day. So from 1 year from now, it's 3 times bigger for everything.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
3 times. Okay, that's what we all believe in. And Zhou, why don't you wrap it up?
Yeah, I share the exciting prediction. Introduced by said by Daniel and Mr. and Harry, and I do have the kind of similar feeling. And for 1 year from now, I think now we got more and more ordinary people talk about blockchain or heard about blockchain. I think in 1 year there will be more and more people start to use and touch blockchain or feel blockchain industry, blockchain technology in their real daily life. We can see it from the projects that we've been working with the government and corporates, and because we think that the blockchain technology, especially in permission blockchain technology, the technology is kind of ready for some kind of application, right? And the resources is there because of the government put the green light. So I think it's ready to make some noises, for ordinary people to use the blockchain technology in 1 year. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. Thank you all for spending time with us. We're so delighted to have you share your insights. It was great. You guys dropped so much knowledge on what the Chinese market is, and for everyone who wants to come and enter, we now know that we need to partner with all of y'all and work with you if there's any chance of success. So again, thank you so much, and on to the next panel.